May. So months go by. I go there in July. I still don't know about the trademarks and all that. I do the work. They smiling on my face like, yeah. But knowing behind my back, the niggas wouldn't try to trademark my. So I find out in July that Christy Lucy from Death Row, an attorney over there, trademarked the Dog Pound DPG. So I hear Snoop and say, "What's up with your lawyer?" I ain't cussing.
Were minding their business when a new video hit the internet and instantly set the whole scene buzzing. Out of nowhere, Daz Dillinger dropped a clip that he says came straight from Snoop Dogg himself. And the moment it surfaced, everyone stopped and said, "Hold up! Oh, what is going on now?" It didn't look good for Snoop at all, and just like that, another chapter of their long, messy tension exploded in public again. This isn't some fresh disagreement either. The strain between Snoop and Daz has been simmering for a couple years, but lately it's been getting louder, sharper, and way more personal. And according to Daz, this latest clip is only a small piece of a bigger problem that keeps growing even when the cameras are off. Everything jumped into motion about 5 days ago when Daz released the first video in this new wave of drama. In that clip, he called Snoop Snoop Knight, making a direct comparison between Snoop's business style and some old school tactics that people still talk about today. That name alone made the internet freeze because it hinted at something deeper, a level of frustration that Daz clearly kept quiet for a long time but couldn't hold in anymore. When Snoop bought Death Row Records, he didn't just take the spotlight. He took on all the history, the promises, the contracts, and the unfinished business tied to that legacy. That includes everything connected to Daz, the Dog Pound brand, and every agreement that was supposed to be.
I trademarked the paw. Because I drew the paw in 1991. Daz Dillinger. I drew that paw 1991, and I've had it ever since.
Okay, so you own everything, so that's all your stuff. Now, you were saying something about the paw. Now, what are you talking about with the paw?
Well, like I was saying, the paw is trademarked. Like I told Snoop, you got rejected and I got accepted. You know what I'm saying? So that was the moneymaker. The paw is like the Apple sign, like I said before. And like I said, they tried to go behind my back and trademark all my work and then flung my face like, yeah, we got it. That's all we wanted because we're finna sell everything for $1 billion to Universal.
First, things looked positive, especially when Daz publicly thanked Snoop earlier this year for helping track down money he was owed and actually giving it to him. For a moment, people thought the two finally found peace and respect after all those years. But the tone flipped fast. In the new video, Daz says important issues like royalties and old contracts still haven't been handled right, even after he believed everything was fixed. He made it clear he feels certain loose ends are being ignored, and he seems done staying quiet about it because he said it all with a level of frustration that you can't miss. Then Daz dropped the part that lit up the whole situation. He claimed Snoop tried to trademark the Dog Pound logo behind his back. According to Daz, he created that logo in his house around 30 or 40 years ago, and he believes he's the rightful owner of it. So when he says Snoop allegedly tried to secure that trademark without talking to him first, it immediately stirred suspicion and raised questions about what was going on behind closed doors. Daz also claims that once the trademark attempt didn't go the way Snoop wanted, Snoop suddenly stopped calling him and stopped bringing him around like before. That shift felt too sudden and too strategic for Daz, and he made sure to say it in a way that left no room for guessing. The energy between them changed instantly, and people could feel it just from his tone. Right now, Daz says the two of them are on totally different paths. He believes Snoop is focused on building a long-term vision for Death Row, something big, something he hopes will keep growing long after he steps away from it. And because of that, Daz feels like he's being pushed out of the picture as Snoop moves forward with bigger plans that don't include him. This situation is getting louder, messier, and way more complicated, and this is only the beginning. Right now, people are looking at Snoop Dogg and realizing he's not trying to sit in a CEO chair for the rest of his life. The man is in his 60s, and running Death Row day after day is not part of his long-term blueprint. What is part of his plan, though, is recognizing the power of that brand and the kind of doors it could still open if the right person finally puts the whole thing in order.
Hard or nothing, I just found out that y'all tried to trademark the Dog Pound, and that's how I know. I mean, yeah, nigga, I did it. and, you know, being tough and shit. And that's what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? So, all hell break loose. He do a show, he don't take me, take everybody else. Like, yeah, I ain't with Dad and all that shit. For what? Because I asked you about my trademark that you tried to go behind my back and steal my. But the reason why I never trademarked the dog pound, because the Cleveland Browns own the.
Seems to know exactly what death row could become if someone cleaned it up, organized everything, and made it run like a modern business instead of a chaotic memory from the past. From the outside, it looks like he stepped in with a mission: settle the paperwork, fix the structure, bring everyone together, and prepare the company for something much bigger down the road. Whether that means expanding it or eventually selling it, nobody knows for sure. But the vibe definitely feels like he's lining up the pieces for a major move. And one thing about Snoop, he knows his influence carries weight. He probably felt like he was the only person who could walk into rooms where old bridges were broken and still be able to bring people together without drama. Unlike Suja, who burned almost every connection he had, Snoop still has a lot of solid relationships in the industry, which makes him the perfect person to rebuild the structure without creating new problems. So imagine Snoop thinking, let's lock down the trademarks, fix the catalog, update the contracts, and bring every artist into the same conversation. He likely wanted Death Row to finally sit on stable ground, ready for new albums, films, documentaries, and anything else that could revive the legacy in a big way. It sounds like a clean plan. But this is where things get messy. Daz seems to believe Death Row is worth way more than what the industry realistically sees. In one of his recent videos, he said he thinks Snoop is going to sell Death Row for $1 billion and leave everyone else out of the deal. That number shocked people because nothing about the company suggests it's anywhere near that kind of value, but Daz is fully convinced that $1 billion payday is in. Daz is holding on to the piece of the brand he controls like it's gold bars locked in a vault. He refuses to budge. He doesn't want to sign anything, approve anything, or cooperate with anything unless it lines up with the $1 billion vision he has in his mind. To him, any smaller offer feels disrespectful, even if the offer is solid by realistic standards. So picture Snoop offering him something clean like, here's $100,000, let's settle the trademark. That sounds like a reasonable business deal to most people, but to Daz, it feels like a lowball because he thinks Death Row will someday reach that $1 billion mark. So he's gripping tight to the little piece he owns, refusing to move, refusing to collaborate, and refusing to join the bigger plan because he's expecting a payout that simply doesn't exist. The truth is, according to industry insiders, that $1 billion number is nowhere near reality. Not now, not in the future, not ever. But until Daz accepts that, this standoff between him and Snoop is only going to stretch longer, get louder, and turn even more complicated. Daz has already said straight up that the Tupac catalog is pure treasure and the Dr. Dre material is the kind of music that never loses value. Everybody knows those two catalogs are the real diamonds of the entire Death Row legacy. So the question everybody keeps asking is simple. What exactly does Daz think is out there that would make Death Row hit $1 billion someday? Even with all the history, the math just doesn't stretch that far, and people are starting to wonder why he keeps putting
dog pound, but they spell it D-A-W-G. You know what I mean? And they have it trademarked for their football. So that was the confusion over all the 30 years of doing business with the first Death Row, but doing business with them, Reggie Wright, doing the business with them. They try to steal the shit too, but it could never happen because the Cleveland Brown owned the name of Dog Pound. Not the way that we spelled it, but it's confusion is what they said on there. So when I hear Snoop and said, Why did y'all try to trademark the dog pound?
Beyond the dog pound logo situation, Daz is still convinced that Snoop Dogg and Death Row owe him money. He believes something in the paperwork isn't adding up, and he's not letting it slide because he thinks the percentages Snoop is using don't reflect the real earnings. That's where his frustration gets even louder. When Snoop bought Death Row out of bankruptcy, he inherited everything. The contracts, the splits, the percentages, the paperwork, the whole mess that came from years of chaotic management. But here's the problem. All that paperwork was originally put together by Suge Knight, and everybody who lived through that era knows Suge's reputation wasn't exactly clean. That alone makes Daz feel the numbers can't be trusted. From his perspective, if Suge was the person handling the splits, then there's no way the books were ever accurate. Daz says they shouldn't be using those percentages as the foundation for anything today because, according to him, Suge wasn't the type to give anyone their fair cut. So now he's demanding a full audit, new numbers, new splits, new math, because he believes the old records are completely off. Daz is convinced the paperwork on file is a watered-down version of what people were truly owed back then. He thinks Suga adjusted the numbers to make himself look clean and reduce how much he owed artists, producers, and everyone involved. So when Snoop uses those old documents as the starting point, Daz feels like the system is repeating the same unfair treatment all over again, just with a different person in charge. This disagreement over old numbers, missing money, and questionable percentages has become the heart of the battle between Snoop and Daz. It's not just about loyalty or history anymore. It's about paperwork, trust, ownership, and money that Daz believes never made it into the right hands. And when someone feels the system failed them once, they're going to be extra loud when it looks like it's happening.
But don't be selling my shit.
Now, what do you mean by selling? He said he was going to sell it, or what? They're selling Death Row, the new Death Row that just came?
Snoop, everything Snoop is involved with, he gonna sell all that shit for $1 billion, cashing out for their catalog. And then he sell that shit and he just start over and make new music. It's easy. You sell what you got, you know what I'm saying? And you got all that money. I'm counting pocket, but I got my own pocket. You know what I mean?
Now, how many albums is over there? At Death Row? Because you were saying that it was the Doggy Style and there was 2 other ones you was talking about?
Yeah, the shit that I got on the wall right here, you know what I'm saying?
And just when people thought things were already complicated, Lupe stepped into the conversation after staying quiet his entire career. That alone shook the room and made everyone wonder what else is about to surface next. Snoop Dogg has spent decades staying clear of the kind of reputation that followed Diddy and Suge Knight. That old image of signing people into twisted contracts and leaving them stuck in unfair deals. Snoop was never known as someone who played with people's money or took anything that didn't belong to him, which is why this whole situation cut so deep for him. So when Snoop saw Daz online hinting that he was acting like a thief, messing with business and trying to block the rise of the new Death Row, Snoop took it straight to heart. He's been rebuilding that label with pride, and hearing Daz put dirt on his name was something he refused to let slide. Snoop recorded a direct video message to Daz, letting him know he wasn't about to ignore those accusations. But instead of keeping it private, Daz leaked the video the moment he received it. And that's when the whole situation exploded online. Immediately after, Daz posted his own response saying, "He mad now he want to hit me business-wise by trying to take everything I built on Death Row with 4 signatures and no royalties." That line alone had the entire internet watching every move. Daz went further, saying the label used royalties to pay staff members who were making more money than the artists themselves. He reminded people that he had taken legal action against Suga in the past and hinted he might do the same again because the publishing paperwork is still under his name. According to him, nothing in those records can change unless someone tries to force it. And he wasn't about to let anyone do that without a fight. He stood his ground, saying he wasn't someone who could be starved out or pushed into silence because he's independent and runs his own lane. The way he said it made it clear he wasn't backing down, no matter how big the name on the other side of this drama is. Then things got even louder when former Death Row artist SKG stepped in to show support for Daz. She spoke up on her page, saying she had watched Snoop and Daz clash for years and revealed Daz even blocked her once for speaking to Suge. But even with that history, she still defended him. She wrote that Daz is smart and has every right to question his contract, publishing, and percentages because the industry loves to keep artists confused about their own business. She said too many people get hypnotized by fame, then get upset when someone finally starts asking real questions about their money.
You know what I'm saying? But the death row stuff from Gamma on up, not from the past. I'm talking about Gamma on up, you know what I'm saying? From 22 on up. Just like he said, I'm gonna give everybody back their publishing. You're live. You ain't paid nobody since day one. You're trying to starve niggas out, but you can't starve me out. You can starve them other niggas out, but everybody complaining over there. I just want what's mine, you know what I'm saying?
Now, you haven't got paid for any of your stuff, or how does that work? They just able to take it and it just becomes theirs, or?
You know, that bankruptcy, Snoop bought this shit, you know what I'm saying? But from 10 till now, from 22 now, got to pay us. And right now they in there trying to change all the percentages. I don't know what they're doing to say here, this is what we owe you. You can't just come up with a number and all that other type of shit. It's a split. I mean, y'all doing it.
She learned early in her career, back when she brought Corrupt back to death row to sign again, that this industry will use people until there's absolutely nothing left to take. Her message added a whole new layer to the situation, turning a private disagreement into a full-on conversation about fairness, ownership, and the way artists have been treated for decades. This clash just keeps getting deeper, louder, and way more personal. And every time someone new speaks up, the story changes again. SKG ended her message by saying a lot of people want you to support their goals, then turn around and act like you never helped them level up at all. She said the real mission in this business is ownership, legacy, and long-term stability. But not everyone thinks that way because some folks get too caught up chasing social media attention instead of locking in on their future. Her words hit deep because they matched what so many artists have experienced behind the scenes. Now, here's where things get tricky. Nobody on the outside truly knows who owes who, who's right, or who's wrong, because nobody has the actual numbers in front of them. And if Snoop really is using the old record Suge Knight created, then yes, those documents should definitely be checked again and again. Everybody knows Suge wasn't exactly known for clean bookkeeping, so anything tied to those old splits should be reviewed with fresh eyes. That part makes sense. But even with all that being true, there's still a line that shouldn't be crossed. And leaking a private video from your own cousin is definitely one of them. That kind of move doesn't just expose the argument, it reshapes how the public sees the person on the other end. Right now, Snoop Dogg is seen as everyone's favorite uncle, the calm, funny, laid-back legend who can cook with Martha Stewart one day and perform on the biggest stages the next. He's walked a long road from the younger version of himself who once stood in a courtroom fighting for his life, and he rebuilt his reputation into one of the most trusted and beloved figures in entertainment. That transformation took decades. So releasing a personal video of him speaking out of frustration could easily crack that image. It paints him in a light most people aren't used to seeing, and it might make the public question parts of his personality they never even thought about before. When I saw that video myself, it caught me off guard because it didn't match the version of Snoop the world grew up with. It felt strange, intense, and honestly, like a side most people never expected to see. And that's the part that makes everything feel heavier. Because if someone is truly your family, you don't try to shift the world's view of them in a negative way. You don't take a private moment full of raw emotion and turn it into entertainment for the internet. Some things are meant to be handled in a room, on a call, or in a space where emotions can calm down. Doing it publicly only makes the situation harder to fix and pushes people even farther apart. At the end of the day, if you're family, real family, there are certain lines you simply don't cross, no matter how upset you are or how long the argument has been going on. And right now, that's the part everyone is questioning the most. At the end of the day, there's one thing everyone can agree on. Once something is meant to stay private, you keep it private. No leaked conversations, no leaked messages, no leaked videos, none of it. That kind of move just twists the whole situation and drags things into a place that's hard to come back from. Family or not, that's the kind of energy that creates permanent cracks, and once it's out there, you can't take it back. But now it's your turn to weigh in because this story is getting more layered by the day. Do you think Snoop actually owes Daz more money? Should Snoop stick with the numbers that are already on record, or should there be a full audit to clean up everything from the old death row days? This entire situation is wild, and I want to hear how you see it. Make sure you drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, share this video with someone who follows the drama, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. This story is nowhere near finished, and things are only getting more intense from here. I'll catch you in the next one, and make sure you click the video on your screen right now for more non-stop celebrity drama. See you there.